Good morning. How are you?
I am just fantastic. I get to talk with Lucy Boynton. So there, how could my morning not be great?
Well, thank you.
Um, First of all, congratulations on Cruel Love, the Ruth Ellis story. Is there more responsibility on you as an actor to take on the role of someone that's actually actually lived?
Absolutely. And I think you always go into playing a real person knowing that yours is an interpretation. So you don't have the time and the hours to kind of convey absolutely everything. And there is always that want and temptation too, especially when the person is as interesting as Ruth Ellis. But I think we were just gifted with these brilliant, brilliant scripts. So I felt that it was such a service to her and the humanization of her. She had been portrayed in the media at the time in such a skewed way that was so informed by misogyny and classism. And so I felt the script was such a kind of clarification of who she was, of the dark and the light. So I felt in really great hands. And then I really empathized with her. So that always makes that channel of access much easier.
It's a very interesting series, and the fact that it takes this character, Ruth, and it's almost a cautionary tale for today. I mean, it's how women are kind of treated in the media.
Absolutely. And I mean, we acknowledge that we live in a patriarchy, but we feel very uncomfortable to acknowledge that that means we live in a misogynistic society, and we still do. I really wanted to start this press tour with so many positive statistics, but actually you realize much, how much we do mirror 1955 in the ways that we haven't progressed, especially in the treatment of women, and especially in terms of domestic violence. Those statistics get worse every year. It's an epidemic in the UK, as it is here. And so I do feel really, really privileged to be a part of a show that really brings that to light and will hopefully be a catalyst of conversation for audiences.
I think so too, and I think your cast is just spot on. And it must be such a privilege and a wonder to work with somebody like Toby Jones.
Always. This is the second time I've been lucky enough to work with him. And I think he, I just respect him so much and love his work so much. Then you end up feeling really safe in scenes with an actor like that because they're a good kind of litmus test and barometer for quality. So you know that when you're trying to find the scene together and kind of find the tone and how much to share with the audience and such, you're in really safe hands with someone who knows the craft very, very well. So, yeah, Toby Jones every time.
I enjoy also the fact that this was made into a mini series, because if it was a movie, it was a full arc like that. I
Mm.
don't think you can get the intricacies in that you needed to explain Ruth's story.
And also, there's so much we had to leave out. There's so much kind of pre-context for her life that helps you understand why she is the way she is. I mean, her childhood was fascinating. Her father was incredibly abusive. She grew up through the Blitz in London, so was very hardened by having a really rough life and very difficult cards dealt her. But she became very pragmatic because of it. But yeah, there were so many more details that we wish we had more hours to kind of to excavate and explore. But yeah, hopefully the audience is captivated by this.
And speaking of audience, I mean, what do you think they'll take away with them from watching this miniseries?
I think people will be surprised that they don't know Ruth Ellis's case to begin with. It changed the judicial system in the UK, but it's a pivotal case, and it was shocking at the time, even more so now through a contemporary lens. And I think people will be unsettled by the familiarity of so many elements. And again, I hope it's a real catalyst for examining how our judicial system treats women.
As an actor, do you gravitate more toward the dramatic than comedy?
I think so. The thing I love about this job is getting to live the full kind of emotional spectrum and getting to live so many different lives. And I think I'm very, very lucky in the life that I live and that I'm quite happy. So I think, getting to explore, again, like I said, the full kind of spectrum of human existence. And then stories like this, of course, that are just so impactful and so deserve so much more attention. And I think, it is dark because it's a miscarriage of justice. And I think we're so drawn to true crime because we're afraid of, I think, what we're capable of. And so I think, I think it was just an irresistible story. So
Again, you must have tons of scripts crossing your desk all the time, and to pick this one, there had to be something very special about this script that caught your eye.
it was just undeniable to me. I mean, the framework of it, the case in itself, as I said, it changed our judicial system. So I was immediately intrigued by that and shocked that I wasn't aware of it. The 1950s, London, post-war London, is such a fascinating era to examine. It was such an era, I think, of regression into traditionalism, whereas the 20s to the 40s had been kind of much more in the direction of freedom and kind of exploration and expression. So that context was fascinating. And again, the kind of time travel element of acting, where you get to live in a totally different time and space. And then Ruth at the center of it, this walking contradiction of a woman, this very ambitious, diligent force of nature, who, there were very few opportunities for women at that time. And she knew that she wanted a big, bright life for herself and much more than she'd been born into. And she really had to carve out that space for herself. And so she was a very, very modern woman. So she really surprised me in all of my research.
Well, in our final seconds, we have, and by the way, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a
Thank
busy,
you.
busy lady. Will you be going back on stage, hitting the board, so to speak, and doing something in front of live audiences soon?
I don't know. I don't know. I do love camera work because, I mean, as you'll see in this show, you get to be so intimate with the audience when it's, you can have a mask that kind of a jury won't see, and then the audience and the camera are so close, the slight flicker can convey so much emotion. And I find that so satisfying as an actor. But never say never, possibly.
Lucy, thank you so much for your time, and always good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. Bye.